Welcome back, folks. We have the premiere of the T92 Light Tank as the first deal of the Advent Calendar sales thingamajig for this year. Who would have thunk? I thought this vehicle was going to be the Grand Finals Light Tank Promotional Premium, whatever you want to call it. But following the AMX 1357 and the Black Bulldog, it wouldn't make sense. Nope, it was the Chrysler K, and this vehicle became fodder for the Advent Calendar sales thing. So, oh well, but is it worth it now? Well, long story short, they actually buffed it. They actually buffed this vehicle ever since patch 9.17 when it was released onto the actual servers. So you actually have this vehicle in your files, in your res folder, but it wasn't available to everybody. Actually, anybody. So let's take a look at this vehicle yet again, but with the stats change. So as you know, the T92 is very small of a target, so it's pretty hard to hit. It has the same camouflage rating as the light tanks of the French, so about the same as the AMX 13s or the Batchat 12T. So it's pretty sneaky, but this thing also has the mobility of the LTTB, so it's pretty good at active scouting as well. But it also has the view range of the Bulldog, so it's a little bit more keen-eyed than the Russian tanks. So basically combining all the good aspect of every nation light tanks into one vehicle. And it's a premium. Because why not? So I thought it was pretty OP, but ever since patch 9.18, with all the changes to artillery, to the matchmaker, and light tanks in general, Wargaming has changed some of the stats from being a premium tier 7 to become a premium tier 8. So obviously they gave it a little bit more health. They nerfed the DPM about 200 or so. They nerfed the hull traverse by 15 degrees per second because 70 was insane. But the best part about the buffs and the nerfs to this vehicle is they actually increased the engine power by 75%. So originally this vehicle had 20 horsepower per ton ratio, now it has 35. Because why not? And it has amazing terrain resistance. Combine that with 35 horsepower per ton ratio, and this thing could go 25 kilometers per hour backwards. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's still pretty OP. I mean, the matchmaking is still the same, because originally it was at tier 7 with +3 -1 matchmaking, scout matchmaking. Now it's at tier 8 with +2 -2, which is basically the same. But it has 75% more engine power. Basically 75% more horsepower per ton ratio. Because why not? So here is the original stats. Take a quick look. Pause the video if you want. So 20 horsepower per ton ratio, amazing terrain resistance, yada yada. So very good DPM in my honest opinion, but still, shooting on the move, pretty good as well. 10 degrees of gun depression, 20 elevation, 400 meters of view range, same camo as the AMX 13s. So yeah, why not? But here are the current stats. So as you can see, 35 horsepower per ton ratio with astoundingly good terrain resistance. Like insane terrain resistance. Jesus, this thing is highly maneuverable. Highly. It's not as fast to turn as previously, only 55 compared to 70, but still, 55 is still pretty good. Top speed a little bit below average by 7 kilometers per hour. Not that much, but reverse is 25. That's fast. Has a little bit more health than previously, obviously at tier 8 now. A little bit more health for the ammo rack, so you don't get ammo racked. But the accuracy, dispersion, aim time, all the same. Same goes for the penetration, the alpha. They nerfed the DPM by 1 shell, about. So a little bit slower to reload, but still, 2000 DPM is still above average at tier 8. So, and shell velocity is pretty high. View range, astoundingly good for the change in 9.18 to the light tanks. Oh my god. So yeah, 400 meters of view range. Pretty good as well. Same camo as the French. What's weak about this vehicle? Maybe the accuracy, a little bit. Maybe the penetration now, but it wasn't always like great anyways for all the light tanks. You're never going to penetrate a mouse, even at the sides, so that wasn't a big problem, but this thing basically has the same mobility as the LTTB. So taking a look, comparing to the LTTB, it has better horsepower per ton ratio, better terrain resistance, not as fast top speed, but better traverse, better reverse of the speed. So basically, this is just as fast as the LTTB, and even more maneuverable. It doesn't get bogged down, so it could perform basically the same active scouting duties as the LTTB. That's crazy. But it has better camouflage rating, while moving as well, and better view range by 20 meters. So put coated optics on this vehicle is a lot more efficient than putting coated optics on the LTTB. 20 meters! That's insane! Same DPM, a little bit better penetration, but it fires APCR, not AP, so a little bit of the trade-off, but better gun depression. So, crazy. Compare this to the Batchat 12T, about the same camouflage rating, but this thing is a lot faster because it has a lot better terrain resistance. Not as fast going forward in a straight line, but maneuverability is a lot better. 42 degrees per second compared to 55. Yeah, that's a lot better for this vehicle. Same accuracy, a lot better dispersion, a lot better gun arc, better DPM, a lot better DPM. So basically compare this to the Bulldog, and we can see that, yep, a lot better terrain resistance, not as good top speed, but same view range as well, a lot better camo. So it's basically combining all good aspects of all the vehicles into one. Not the armor though, the armor is still pretty garbage. So yeah, only 32 for the mantlet, and for the beak, the rest 13, so don't get hit, mostly, don't touch anybody, don't ram anybody. Yeah, you'll do fine. So what's the bad part about this vehicle? The penetration? The accuracy? I mean, it's still above average, slightly, or slightly below average, but still, not that much. And it's a premium. Also, it cost 6,500 gold. That's the cheapest of tier 8 premiums. The original cheapest is 7,200, going for the Super Pershing, I believe. That's like almost the same value as a premium tier 7. I mean, the average of tier 8 premiums are like 10,000 gold to 8,500. This is 6,500. This is pretty cheap. For a premium tier 8, that's pretty cheap. So it's not available in the tech tree for gold, hopefully yet. So it might be, but we'll wait to see that part. But as for this vehicle, I mean, the original final thoughts and opinions still holds true. It's freaking crazy. Still very good of a light tank. I mean, it has 35 horsepower per ton ratio now. Jesus Christ. And the terrain resistance is godlike. I mean, what's bad about it? Yeah, there's no bad parts about this vehicle. It's also cheap. I mean, for the special offer currently, it's 31 bucks. Sure. It's about 6,500 gold. So that's the same price as a premium tier 7. So compare this to the SU-12244. Compare this to the AT-15A. It's the same price. But it's at tier 8. So it makes more credits. Now, the only assumption is you know how to play light tanks. You have mastered the learning curves, which is pretty steep for light tank players because map awareness, map adjustments, you have to use your speed to go scouting correctly. I mean, scout for nobody, you get no assist, obviously, right? So, if you got the light tank skills, if you mastered the learning curves, this is a crazy light tank for you. But if you find playing light tanks too hard, I wouldn't recommend it because it's often very tilting because you have players, fuckboys, that goes like, hey, T92, scout this area. What the hell you're doing? Go scout over here. Go scout over there. So, why? You will face a lot of these tilting moments and salty other players telling you to go scout over there when you know there are obviously other scouts preventing you from going over there and you getting nuked by tank destroyers. So, not everybody knows how to play light tanks. Not everybody knows how the map adjustments or map awareness, and everybody's a critic. Everybody's telling you where you should go and you getting tilted. So that's one big annoying aspect about playing light tanks. You have to rely on your teammates. You have to coordinate. If it doesn't work well and your teammates are incompetent, you're not going to have a good time. So I recommend you buying a heavy tank if you prefer up close and personal. I prefer you buying a tank destroyer if you like to sit in the back and snipe. So those are a little bit easier to get the credits. But if you do prefer a light tank, if you do have the learning curve skills mastered, sure, go for it. It's amazing. It combines all the good aspects of light tanks into one. Jesus freaking Christ. The terrain resistance combined with the 35 horsepower per ton ratio and the 400 meters of view range and the camo. You can't make that stuff up. It's amazing of a light tank. The gun's also pretty good, shooting on the move. What's not to like? So there you go, folks. The return of the T92 Light Tank. Now currently it's only available for 1 day, I presume, on the North American server and the EU server. But on the Asian server, it's a little bit more relaxed because they have a little bit wider time frame. They have the sale from December 2nd to December 11th, so a week. For the Russian server, it's like 2 weeks, so December 1st to the 15th. So yeah, think about it. But if you do like playing light tanks, if you do like scouting or active scouting, passive scouting, this thing does both. You might like this vehicle, and it costs the same as a premium tier 7 for the monies. Ugh. So there you go, folks. The return of the T92. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.